The Fallen Angel, a Black Dagger Brotherhood fanfiction. Chapter 3. Hang on, Beth began. Remy, you said that all males forget you if you have slept with them. Since all the brothers don't remember you, does that mean you have slept with all of them? Beth questioned. Remy turned to the other female and blushed so hard her cheeks were red. Rage thought it was the most beautiful thing he had seen. Vicious, on the other side of the room, could smell the arousal rolling off Remy, and Zadis could see her body language change, and found that she was leaning towards him. I was wondering which one of you would connect the dots. Yes, I slept with all of them, except for Fury. How much detail did you want me to go into? Remy trailed off, scratching behind her ear, looking at each of the brothers in turn. I can tell you all individually with extreme detail, or I can give you all the basic rundown in front of you all. Remy posed. I think we should hear all the shorter stories. Specific details can wait until later, Wrath stated. Remy looked wide-eyed at Wrath and squirmed under his gaze. Since none of the brothers moved, Remy took a deep breath and began. There is something else you should all know. Of course, apart from Fury, I fell pregnant and gave birth to a human child from each of you, Remy stated, and began waving her hands at the brothers to get them to keep from yelling or charging at her so she could continue. I can manipulate the DNA of my child, and my sister requested that the children be human and not vampire or angel. Each child was left with a reputable family. I am able to fall pregnant without the needing period, but my sister did inform me the last time I spoke to her that I will have a vampire-style needing period soon. The gestation period for me is shorter than vampires, but slightly longer than human, Remy blurted out. And when there were no further comments, she continued, counting off her fingers. The years are mere approximations, as I cannot remember the exact dates. Darius was my first in 1645, and I gave birth to a son called Daniel. Torment was next in 1675, and we had a son, Matthew. Wrath in 1700, and his daughter was called Victoria. Vicious was in 1735, and his son was named Zack. Zadist in 1810, and his daughter was called Isolde. And finally Rage in 1888, and his daughter was named Alexandria. That's all I'm going to say in a group setting. If you boys want more information, you can ask me one-on-one, Remy finished, looking exhausted. I have two questions. One, I understand why my brothers don't remember you, but why don't I remember you? And two, you said you'll be going into a needing period soon. Is that why you have come back? Fury asked after a heartbeat. Answer one. You may be celibate, but those fingers of yours are most certainly not. And two, yes, as only vampire stamina will be able to get me through the meeting, Remy replied with a bite to her lip. Can I ask you more about our encounter? But not here, Fury asked. Remy smiled. Sure. Shall we go and sit in the library? Remy took Fury's hand and missed the murderous look on Rage's face, Vicious's low growl, and the sneer on Zeta's face. The behavior of all three was noted by Beth and Wrath. I think trouble is brewing, Leela, Wrath commented, kissing Beth's fingers. I'll talk to her later, Beth reassured Wrath. Ever the gentleman, Fury let Remy into the library first and shut the door firmly behind him. Remy curled up into one of the large armchairs in front of the fireplace. Fury was too restless to sit down, and Remy smiled at him. Fury, sit down. You are making me nervous. I'm sorry, Atlas. I can smell your arousal underneath your normal smell, and it's kind of making me restless. Fury apologized. Remy stood up, took Fury's hand, led him over to the opposite armchair, and made him sit down. Please, just call me Remy. But thank you for using my full name. My meeting is coming sooner than I expected, and I need to decide on who will I choose, Remy stated as she resumed her previous position. Fury looked alarmed, thinking the angel would choose him. Remy giggled. Please don't fret. I will not choose you this time. I have my eye on 3 of your brothers, Rage, Vicious, and your twin, which is most likely why you're feeling a little more of a nervous pull, Remy comforted the warrior. Fury looked at the angel wide-eyed. You sure one of those 3? Yes. I feel I will need something a little on the rough side, Remy admitted. Now, I know we're not here to talk about me having sex with your brothers. What do you want to know about our encounter? She continued bluntly, taking Fury by surprise. Fury rubbed the back of his neck, not knowing where to start with his questions. Did you know when you approached me? Was Fury's first question. Yes, I had been hanging around you for a few years, so you knew me pretty well, Remy replied. Fury went quiet, and Remy left him alone in his head for a few minutes. So, did we have sex? Fury finally asked after collecting himself and feeling extremely embarrassed. Remy smiled at the flush that creeped up Fury's neck from under his tight black t-shirt. Remy patted Fury's knee. No, we didn't have sex in the traditional fashion of let me ride that cock of yours. Remy paused while Fury readjusted his position slightly and somehow blushed harder. It did not escape the angel's notice that her words had certainly made the warrior hard and uncomfortable. Remy closed her eyes to lose herself in a memory. Fury, I have a favor to ask of you, Remy began as she shut the bedroom door behind her chosen male. What do you need from me, milady? Fury asked, looking straight ahead in the room and not at the angel in front of him. I know that you have a specific vow, and I'm not asking you to break it. But I was wanting to ask if you could use your fingers to help me through this slight meeting I have. Remy replied, losing her confident edge a little into nervousness. Are you sure that is all you need? Fury questioned. I see the conflict in your eyes, Male. Again, I do not want you to break your vow. And I have a gift, or a curse if you like, but you will not remember me come tomorrow night. It will be a fond memory for me, and you will just think you had an uneventful night, Remy explained. Do you agree? Remy asked after a heartbeat. An angel who is the Scribe Virgin's sister asks for assistance from a veil. Who am I to refuse her humble request? Fury replied diplomatically. Remy nodded and stood in front of Fury and ran her fingertips up his arm and buried her fingers into the nape of his neck and the multicolored strands she found there. Remy gently tugged on Fury's head to her right and began laying kisses up his neck to his ear. Fury, you can touch me, Remy moaned into his ear. The smell of your arousal is more than enough for me, the male grunted out before finding himself winding his hand on Remy's ass, lifting her off her feet and carrying the angel towards the bed. Fury found Remy's smell so intoxicating he was unable to stop himself from running his fingers up the inside of Remy's leg, under her dress, and finding nothing impeding his goal of the angel's wet core. As Fury gently stroked Remy's folds, he found his fangs elongating and Remy's scent becoming even stronger. God, you smell mouth-watering. I want to bury my fangs in your throat and my cock in your wet warmth. Fury trailed off, running his nose at Remy's neck instead. and pushing two fingers into her pussy as Remy moaned out the male's name. After what only felt like a few well-timed strokes, Fury pulled his fingers out and brought them to his lips. I just have to taste. Placing them in his mouth and sucking Remy's essence from them. Fury's eyes rolled in his head. You are divine, he moaned, shuffling his body down to his destination between the angel's thighs. Fury, no! I don't want you breaking your vow for me. Remy squirms, trying to get out of his grip. But I want to taste straight from the source, Fury whined. Remy gently pushed Fury off her body, looked him in the eye, and said, I am not the one you want to break your vow for. Remy watched Fury's eyes clear from most of the lust he felt. The male lowered his eyes. Thank you. Remy nodded. Now, I'm craving those beautiful fingers back inside me. I'm so close to coming, it's painful. Fury smiled. Yes, my angel. Sucking on his fingers and burying them back inside the angel as far as he could reach, as she moaned in delight after what felt like mere moments. Fury noticed the female's breathing had changed. She was clinging to his arm and arching her back off the bed. Remy screamed Fury's name to the heavens, which cracked a mirror hanging in the room. Fury withdrew his fingers, licked them clean, and pulled Remy in for a cuddle. Thank you, Fury. That is exactly what I needed, Remy praised. You are welcome, Artemis, Fury responded. We stayed like that until you fell asleep. I snuck out of bed and left you there, with that beautiful hair spread out over the pillow, Remy stated, finishing her story. Fury was still stunned that he had done that, but grateful for the recollection and that Remy had made him stick to his vow. Any other questions? Remy asked after a few moments. No, thank you, Artemis. Fury replied, bowing his head in her direction. Well then, let's go and find something with chocolate in it. Remy grinned, jumping up from the armchair and practically dragging Fury into the kitchen, knowing that Fritz had been baking a delightful chocolate torte.